I have been struggling with EAFC 24 for a few days. Yes, I can't defend, but that is something that I'm going to have to work on. When it comes to going forward, I stumbled upon something yesterday that I didn't even know existed. So, R1 dribbling. I'm sure the majority of people watching this know what it is, but you're here because you're bored and you may learn something you didn't know before. So when it comes to the left stick dribble this year, it's pretty good. It's quite responsive, and of course players with different playstyles will react differently. So a player with a dribbling playstyle will perform a left stick dribble far better than a player without. And then you come to the technical dribblers. Now these are players who will have very close ball control while running at speed. But it's not speed that is the key here. It's the R1 button, or RB if you're on Xbox. See, this will allow you to perform a slightly faster left stick dribble without sprinting while keeping very close control of the ball. I would even go as far to say that this may be considered a little bit broken in EAFC 24. That is a mouthful. Can we just call it FIFA? People are still learning to defend, and I'm sure we will be doing that all the way up until the end of the game, until the new iteration of EAFC is released. I still can't defend, and when people can run at me holding R1, it is becoming very, very difficult to deal with. And I noticed this yesterday when my opponent was gliding through me, and I couldn't for the life of me understand why. I didn't know anything about the new controls, I don't know how to do the new skills, I've not looked anything up. So I started testing, and I was holding L2 to shield, and I do that a lot, and it doesn't really do an awful lot. And then I just stumbled upon R1, and I thought, oh, that's the sprint button. I was like, hang on a minute, it can't be, because R2 is the sprint. R1 will allow your player to keep very close control of the ball while almost gliding. And there are certain players in the game that are far better at doing this than others. I noticed that Diaby is incredible, as is Rafinha. Now you can do this with any single player on the pitch. You will even find opponents trying to do this with the goalkeeper, and it does work. However, it's not as good as if you have a player like Diaby, possibly even Raheem Sterling. Kingsley Coman is very good at doing it as well, but in my experience, Diaby is by far one of the best players to do this with. He just has very, very good dribbling with pace and is capable of weaving in and out with that agility. The best way to use this, in my opinion, is to obviously get yourself a playstyle plus technical dribbler with pace, but as they are fairly expensive right now, anyone with pace and decent dribbling can do this. The best way to get the most out of this though is to not try and do too much. When you first discover this and you start using it in game, you will want to spam it, and spam away, because it's the only way you're really going to learn what works and what doesn't work. But in my experience, holding this constantly and just running is not going to get you that far. You will eventually weave your way through a number of defenders and get through on goal, and that is the ultimate goal here. But when it comes to changing direction, that's when I would lay off it a little bit. So for example, if you're generally going in one direction, you're going straight forward or diagonal, and you're not making too many over adjustments to your player's position and direction in which they're running, you'll get away with it. But if you try and turn a corner or try to turn too sharply left or right, that's when the player will slow down. He won't have great control of it, and that's when the defender can leap in and make the challenge, and that's generally where you'll lose the ball. So when holding R1, you want to try and keep some sort of a straight line, not weaving too far left or right, and not going too harsh either side. But using high pace players is definitely the key here. And if you haven't tried R1, please give it a go. Let me know in the comments whether you think this is going to get patched or not. I think there may be a tweak to it. I don't think it's going to be patched to the point where it's not in the game anymore, because this is a brand new feature. They're not going to get rid of a brand new feature, much like people thought they were going to get rid of timed finishing because it was just that good. What did they do? They toned it down a little bit, and in some cases back in FIFA 19 they toned it down a little bit too much. Hopefully that doesn't happen here, because I really, really like it. The ability to just dribble through people is so fun. I actually feel like a professional player while doing it, and then I feel like an amateur when I have it done to me. But I would expect this to be toned down at some point, but at the moment, especially in the higher divisions, this is what is happening. It is a game of bob and weave. Let me know in the comments if you have tried it and if you're enjoying it, whether you think or hope that they will nerf this somewhat, and I'll catch you in the next one.